welcome to another episode of Sweet Release Healing's Roundtable. I'm Andrea Lovett of Sweet Release Healing. We have with us our fantastic producer Sharon, as well as Tiffany, Jenny, and Spencer tonight. And as Sharon just types in, welcome to the shit show. Okay, tonight we are talking about the elements and how we work with them: earth, air, fire, and water. Oh my god, Jenny's so fucking funny. Okay. And also, I got a new athame, which Tiffany just taught me to pronounce, and I am super excited about it. Can't show it on TikTok because they'll get mad at me. But for my own witchcraft, I'm super duper excited about this. So, on the heels of that bombshell, I know Spirit's been yelling at me a whole lot about like my witchcraft. Namely, they're like, about fucking time. Like, you signed up to be a human being and you act like you're above it all, which I don't mean to, but I do get princessy. I do. I just want you guys to understand how natural it comes to me to be a dick. But Sharon said I mean to. All right, sometimes I do mean to. I get a little uppity and it happens. But this is why I have a Sharon to bring me back down and be like, bitch, knock it off. She'll be like, why are you? I'm not a diva. Shut up. I just like my water at a certain temperature. They're calling me Princess Daddy in the chat, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. Also, thank you for the follows on TikTok. I appreciate you so much. Okay. Ready, sweet room? I know. Ready, round tablers?
Ready.
Let's start with Earth. Who uses Earth? Why you use it? Does anybody use Earth? Jenny, no shocker.
Right? So in my everyday, I use Earth as grounding and centering, which seems to be like the de facto answer, right? But also for discharge, but also for uptake. To bring into as much as to release and ask Mother Earth to transmute for me the stuff that either I'm not ready for or I just look, take it, please, and thank you. Here's the offering and move on with it. I will call in my earth, like my earth-based metas or entourage a lot of times to come in and aid with different things as well.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That's pretty, I use very similar. So Earth for me is like super chill. It is that really relaxed energy of like that friend who may or may not be on something medicinal and we just chilling out all the time. Like, I like it in small doses, but I don't want to hang out in that energy. It's going to make my clothes smell weird. My hair is going to smell weird. It's just not for me and my energy. When I go to Earth, it's kind of like I'm pouting. Like, I'm like, I've had a bad day. I need a hug. Mom!
Yep.
You're not my real mom, though. You're just my stepmom for this body. But still, I need you. And I always feel a little, I love being in nature and I love sitting in nature, but I really prefer nature with water. And I want like the air flowing by at the same time. I do not feel good, centered, grounded if I'm just walking through the woods without like a stream or the wind blowing around. I don't feel comfortable just like sitting out in a field or on the grass somewhere. Like, I do for a couple minutes and I'm like, okay, what are we doing next?
And the idea of sitting alone in a cave, right? Nothing but earth. No. I don't think I like that idea very much.
That gives me agita.
Yeah. and so to like that all-encompassing rock troll, or no, I think that's too much.
That's one thing I've noticed too. A lot of the elements I seem to combine with other ones, or it doesn't feel right. Using it singularly, there's just something off a little bit about it.
Understandably so. Yeah. Just Michelle asked in the chat, what element is static electricity associated with, or is it just electrical charges? I see that with air.
I would agree.
I always see electricity with air because air brings in the storms
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
how it
lightning.
travels.
When it comes to Earth for me, I feel like it's been the element that has taken me the longest to recognize because it is just so natural. I feel like with the other elements, it's kind of a rare situation, right? Like the air is, you can't see it, but you definitely feel the breeze. You definitely notice the annoyance of it sometimes or whatever. Fire is just so entrancing and like dangerous, right? So you're very quick to notice if there's a fire around. Water is going to be a little bit more natural, but you know, but I think it's just been in the last like 8 years for me that I've really started to being like, oh, look at the mountains today. Oh, let's recognize the grass today. And I think it's been mindfulness, like really understanding what mindfulness is
Mhm.
when I started recognizing Earth and the power that it has to offer for me. Where the other things have always just been trancing and it like sucks me in. I have to actively focus on the Earth one for me.
It's so passive for me that it's like, are you there? Like, are you
Mm-hmm.
there, Margaret? I know I said the book title wrong. So I'm wondering for those who are on TikTok, how do you use your earth connection? Especially, I know a lot of witches who connect deeply with the earth first. And like Jenny was saying, pull up and discharge. It's occurred to me to discharge with earth many times, especially like cleaning my auric field and then handing it over to the fires of Gaia. She knows what to do with it. She's the greatest transmuter that we have, anyhow, which is why we haven't blown ourselves up yet. This time around, she's like, everybody just chill out. Yes, it is, Spencer. Discharge is a gross word, just like moist, like Sharon said. But Sharon was also wanted to add in, by the way, Michelle, about the static electricity. She feels it is also linked to Earth because it travels in between. I don't always feel that way, but I can see why, and I can see Earth holding on to static energy. And Sharon was also adding that because you're not alone in that cave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like thinking about that one. Like, I don't have a problem with bugs. Like, I really don't. I think bugs are really cool. And I'm making like a post here pretty soon on, the spirits. You remember when I did that post on Instagram about the spiritual significance of different birds and I separated out the birds and why they come up for you and stuff? Well, I'm doing another one on bugs, reptiles and amphibians, animals, and then night creatures. These things don't bug me. Like, no issue. I can be out in nighttime and I'm like, this is cool. So what I did there. But thinking about sitting in a cave,
I think it's because it deprives us of our sense of sight. That we absolutely rely on.
oh, it's
Yeah.
giving me a fucking heebie-jeebies just sitting here.
I get my palms wet.
I
I'll
think
live
there's
there.
the
Yeah.
claustrophobic side of it too, like
Mm-hmm.
not having that open air, not being able to like feel open, like it's just so crushing.
Yeah, it's what's that word? That fear of things coming in on you.
Claustrophobic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was going with hype or something and I knew I was way off. I was like, I know I'm wrong. And they're like, that's not the word. And I'm like, helpful, super, super helpful. So Tessa was saying in the chat that she uses earth a lot in healing for herself. I've seen that too, where people connect in and people, especially with chronic diseases or acute, will go outside and put their feet on the ground and connect in directly with the ground. Now, I've seen that one before, but I prefer like if I want that chilled out energy of connection to earth, I'm going for trees first. Like I'm going for that wood connection of but live. You know, I do a little carpentry on the side and I don't feel a ton with lumber. I'm like,
A murdered tree.
I
Yeah, a
know.
fallen branch has more energy left in it than a piece of processed lumber. Absolutely, you can
Mhm.
feel the difference.
Mhm. I actually feel bad using lumber lately. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies with it, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. This is the bones of your friend, isn't it?
Mm.
I didn't mean to build a cabinet out of your corpse.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I put some wood outside, and I swear to God, one of my trees gasped, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm so sorry." Like, imagine that as humans if we just had a pile of bones hanging next to our house. People just coming over.
Took a stroll.
They're like, here's a 1x4. It's only a foot long. Ugh.
This is going to be fun. What about
The cemetery is. My front porch is a cemetery for fucking trees. I feel so bad for them now.
Yeah, but we go to a cemetery. A cemetery isn't dumped, with a dump truck in my front yard.
You see Sharon going, nope, no, I'm not. She says, go visit Andrea's neck of the woods. You do not go to the cemetery. The cemeteries in people's backyards. This is true, actually. So I live in the woods and I live in the mountains woods in the mountains. And so my mom used to work for her town. And this woman's elderly, sickly mother had passed naturally, that we assume is natural causes. And oh, Jesus. That's true, Spencer. That's what I want for mine. And she said, she buried her in the backyard. She hired a tractor. She buried her where she wanted to be buried. And I said to my mom, I have questions. And my mom just fell to pieces laughing. And I was like, did they hire a tractor or did they do it themselves?
We're just going to take the cedar off then just put the track hoe and dig a hole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Were there last rites? Did anybody anoint her? Were there flowers? Did the priest come there? Or did they not have one? I have additional questions. Is there a permit that needs to be filed? And what's the turnaround time on that permit? Because could take a while. And what are you supposed to do between then? Mom says she doesn't want to be embalmed. What do?
You plant endangered species of plant on top of it. Now nobody can say anything.
True.
Just no practical magic. And you're good.
No. No practical magic here. We saw what happened with that.
Yeah, those midnight margaritas weren't worth it.
By the way, we're going to do that on the retreat.
We're going where? What are we doing?
You right, Bob?
Practical magic midnight margaritas.
Spencer, you know where you are.
No, I looked over and then I looked back. I think someone on TikTok said to get a big freezer.
I saw that comment too and I was like, nope.
I think it distracted me.
Did you see Flower Moon? I'm feeling very into sisters. No, we are totally doing midnight margs because I make the best ones you've ever had in your whole life. I squeeze my limes.
Bet.
I know. Where's Charity?
Oh, they're birthdaying, right?
Oh, sugar. Why do they have to have a life other than me? I don't. There it is. Look at Sharon feels so validated right now.
She's typing, tippy typing.
Can't wait to see what that type comes out as. Fucking told you so. Look at her go. Oh no, I don't want to read it. And just look.
All caps.
So for those of you wondering, she wrote "fucking princess" in all caps.
With your spell work, since you brought it up,
yes, ma'am.
What do you like to use when you call in the corners for? So for me, Earth is north. What do you like to physical representation do you use when you're calling in your watchtowers?
So I don't do that.
You don't call in the elements, the elementals?
I work with one at a time.
Ah, okay.
I prefer air, then fire, then water, then earth dead last. I just don't feel a super connection to earth. Like it's so relaxed for me that I'm like, knock knock, are you there? Like thing, and it's just dead air for me. For me, I really like to pull in air first, but I don't just pull in air, I pull in celestial as well. So pulling in air for me is not like a gentle breeze. It's this freaking storm.
It's a cosmic storm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pulling in static electricity and I can feel it crackling off my skin. But I will have like my quartz, especially smoky quartz points, are my favorite to have around.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
And Sharon's pointing out that I thrive on chaos of all kinds. And it's true. I don't like to be calmed by earth. It's too calming for me. There's not enough going on. I like the cycle.
So for me, I never really like I've always tried to use the 4 elements in things, but I never really connected to them. Like I could use them, it served a purpose, they were like tools, and I got the job done. But it wasn't until Andrea mentioned celestial, and as soon as I tapped into that, like I used it the other day for my manifestations and my affirmations going to work, and I pulled all the energy in, and I could visibly see the words leaving my mouth as I spoke them. Like it was so intense, and I felt, a little sick afterwards because it was a lot and I had to ground it back out. But that was the first time that I ever felt super connected to one of the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I love that. That gave me the tinglies.
Like cosmic witchcraft.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You pull from the esoteric and pull from the non-corporeal.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few questions about what celestial is in the TikToks.
Pulling from the planets, from the stars, from any energies that are floating out past our stratosphere. And in it, because we do have star damage inside too. But
So
I
like
only
is
say
all
star
that
damage because there was a cartoon by Nathan Pyle that are like these blue aliens, and one of them gets a tan, and he's like, star damage. Sun rays.
that is what I am calling a sunburn from henceforward.
Yeah, do you guys like my star damage?
I get a little too much star.
I was only out for an hour. I was only out for an hour on my designated lunch break before my life went very sideways yesterday, and I was like, great, fantastic. No. So we covered Earth, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I will add this. For me, you guys don't work with earth. For me, salt is not a form of earth. So people will use salt in their workings, and I have found that the little my little earth beings are not a fan. They don't like it. 0 out of 10. Because think what happens when you salt the earth. It doesn't really turn out very well.
Valid.
So it's cleansing, it's purifying, like it has its uses and its spaces, but it isn't, to me, for my practice, and it's the that I've gotten, it's not they don't like it.
No, small doses are helpful, but not
Not like a bowl full instead of, literally anything else.
My mom actually likes to work with earth a lot. She'll write something on a piece of paper and bury it in the ground. Or she'll have like her little statue guy and she'll bury it in the ground. She likes to work with earth a lot. But I also got yelled at by spirit for only pulling on the elements when I needed something. For only pulling on my manifestations and my affirmations and being serious about it when I needed something. Because I have okay, so next week I'm teaching a vision board creation for the purpose of manifestation. And I do have mine off to the side, and I look at it every single day I'm at work. I have it within view so that I'm constantly thinking about it, but I don't pull in the elements to work with it.
Really?
I just use energy. Like, okay, cool, I'm putting in my order with spirit. What do you how is it? And Mary points out my jar of dirt. It's sitting by the front door. I trust it to do what it's supposed to do. It was outside for an entire moon cycle with the cap off, like it told me it needed. And I put the cap right back on in the last full moon, brought it inside, and it's been chill as anything. Keeps my home protected and chill, which is fine because when I get home, that's what I want.
Yep.
But when I'm out and about, I'm going to use my energy. When I'm at work, I'm using energy here.
I think that's why I carry crystals around in my pocket. Is like that's my form of earth. Now, different ones will pull in different things, but I carry Sharon's got hers on. That's my earth representation throughout the day in my bra, whole 9 yards.
What's funny for me is certain gemstones like quartz and selenite do not feel earthy to me. You're muted, darling. Who's got that on their bingo card?
Oh,
Feel like that? And now our camera's off.
See, that's an interesting point because it just came to me. The reason that I like my crystals in jewelry, because that's the only way I'll carry them, is because they're wrapped in metal. And to me, metal is an amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
So that even like doubles down on their efficiency.
I like that. That's a really valid point. You're like, yep.
I don't carry them. I put them in my pocket every once in a while if I feel it, but I need to carry them more often.
Sharon, jewelry keeps me from dropping all my pocket rocks.
Does anybody else take your undergarments off and they go cling, ting, ting, fring, ting, ting, fring, ting, all over the bathroom floor? I have half pieces of so many different quartz, that I just apologize and go stick them in a plant somewhere and go get them in a month or two.
Jessica said that you. Sharon said she's using a public bathroom and her pockets flipped inside out and hers went everywhere and she had to chase them through the public bathroom. I'd be like, you belong to the bathroom now. I'm going to trust that Spirit loves you.
I've blessed this space. Thank you. Goodbye.
All of you enjoy the earth connection while you can. A little bit of grounding for all of y'all.
Think about what you've done.
And since it's a women's, you know how many of them are moms just being like, take 5 minutes and sit here. Oh, look, rose quartz.
That must be my sign for today. Toilet paper, pick up, pocket.
I see what you did there, Sharon. She said, them shits are expensive, though. I see what you did there. Oh, funny.
10 out of 10.
It was a 10 out of 10. Dad jokes for the win. Puns are amazing. Okay. What about water?
So for me, when I was thinking about this today, water is what I am drawn to. Like, I am drawn to Portland, Oregon, and Washington State because it's that water. There's something about that coast. But I'm the most terrified of water. And I've been trying to figure it out. I've been trying to like say like, hey, what's going on with this? Like, right? Like, I want to do a cruise, and I'm like, yeah, being surrounded by water. And then I'm like, oh, being surrounded by water. Like, thalassophobia, like hardcore. But when I'm in it, I feel the most at home. So it I don't know. It's really weird. Like, I spent my weekend at a pond, and I just being in it and floating and just felt like everything was washing away. But then I'm also just terrified of it if I'm just looking at it.
Agreed. I don't like big, wide, open water. I took a solo cruise, and on those days between islands and I couldn't see land, nope. I don't like the ocean. I really don't. I know that everybody in spirituality is like, what? I don't freaking like the ocean. I don't like salt water all over me and that level of salty. I don't. I feel like I'm encrusted by the end of the day and I feel sticky and I don't like it. I like to sit on the sand and smell it in the dead of winter as it should be. That's about it. I'm not going in the water. There's freaking sharks in there and they ate me and I'm not doing this. Not doing it. I I would stand in 2 inches of ocean water and shake like a freaking leaf. And I'm not afraid of shit. I will go toe to toe with a grown ass man. Just literally did. Motherfucker is 6'5" and 300 pounds. And I went toe to toe with him, like on my tippy toes, in his face, like this. Said whatever I wanted to. It wasn't, it was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine. Sharon says she wants to go to Salem and the ocean. Now, when I was walking along Salem, I had a past life memory pop up for me out of nowhere as I was walking through Ye Old Cemetery with the lightning tree. And I'll take you there. It's, I felt like I was just in a whole other time. I could feel the heaviness of the dress, like the wool of the dress. I could feel all of it. And I knew I was shorter. I knew I was much smaller. Because your girl has the thickness going on and I'm not mad at it. I knew that this was home for me. I'm home. This is my home now. And I knew I had come over across a boat when I was young. But I could hear the seagulls and I could smell like the surf and everything there. And it didn't creep me out in that life. And part of me was like, damn, I had lives where the ocean was all right. Now, you put me in a lake, I got no problem with this. Rivers, love rivers. Love them. Even like a little brook, I'm like, I can splash my little feet in there and have so much fun. I love that stuff because water for me is massively transmutive and transformative. I definitely said I don't like the ear ringing. So if you have something to say, spit it out. And not the ear ringing. Thank you. I hate that shit. They're like, oh, sorry, proximity. I'm like, don't do that.
It's interesting because like the energy and the spirits of the ocean are completely different than freshwater.
Mm-hmm.
And they're definitely, for me, they're more primal, they're more intense, they're older, there's less, I'm not going to say consciousness, but there's less what is the word I'm looking for?
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, there's less of that where these guys are like, oh, let's float them down, let's take care of them, let's nurture them, and these are just like, I don't know what this word is.
I feel like the undines of the ocean couldn't give a shit about you.
No.
But like when I go over, so my favorite spot on the river is called Third Hole, and it's along the Peabody River. And when I go there, and I was just there, when I was there, I finally felt them. Now I've always felt something there, but I was in the water and I was up to my neck and I could see like these little foam pieces coming up and making like these little fun caricatures and stuff in the water and these little symbols. And I was like, that's fun. I introduced myself properly and suddenly there was like, I could feel the water come at me. And I was like, hi, like, what are we doing? But one of the weirdest things I experienced was when I was sitting there by the side of the water before I even got in, I was just gazing at it and I had this, and I'm sure you guys are going to understand, this weird feeling of you should just come in and we're going to just, it's going to be so nice together. And you could just take a little nap in the water with us and like we'll keep you safe and relaxed. And I knew that it wasn't murderous intent, but I was like, I have to breathe, right? And I immediately felt it release. And it's funny because that is also in Sally Crow's book. And I did not expect to experience that. I expected something completely different. And when that happened, I was like, bitch, you are so validated.
Do you get where the water meets the horizon? Do you get a split in reality? Like I feel like Alice in Wonderland that I could just poop through that space between the two if I look at it too long.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question because we kind of talked about when elements mix. and I've seen a lot of people say that they don't like lakes, they feel gross or whatever. Does anyone else feel like lakes are only really pretty because they're usually surrounded by, like, well, for me in Utah, mountains and like that is and trees, and that's when I start really appreciating the lake. So it's like earth and water in the moment. And then if we were talking about that like with oceans, could the waves, because we know the waves are from gravity or from the moon and stuff, right? Is that celestial mixing with water?
Yeah. Yeah,
Ooh.
that's a celestial pull. That's a
That would be
moon, but it's not technically celestial, it's moon pull.
moon pull. Okay, so
Which
moon,
is,
not celestial.
it's kind of like six of one, half dozen of another. Celestial would mean multiple the all, whereas this is a piece of the all.
Okay.
But it's still just as impressive. It's still just as powerful. I know what you mean. That spot by the river I love is because the river comes around a bend. And as it comes around that bend, it has carved into the rock. And then there's like 40-foot trees right above it. And and because they're so tall, you feel the air coming in and around through the corridor. So there's the three mixed all the time. Do you know how badly I want to have a campfire there? It's not allowed. You'll get in big trouble, but I really, I want to so badly. I want to see what happens when fire is introduced there, other than someone's cigarette.
Do you consider the sun fire?
No.
Okay.
No, I consider that celestial. Spencer.
Turn one of a lighter.
Click, click.
Um,
That's fascinating. I think in the water in the mountain lakes are different than here in the delta lakes as well. That glacier, that ancient water, where mine is just, at this point, it's glyphosate.
I think that's
You know
why
what
I
that word is.
feel like the ocean is just so ancient and unknown for me personally. And then the moving water inland from lakes and rivers and ponds and that kind of stuff is a lot more new in my feelings, right? And I think that's why I'm more comfortable seeing those, and I'm so drawn to the ocean, but yet I'm so terrified of it at the same point because it's such an unknown ancient energy that I'm landlocked Utah is not familiar with.
Tessa made a valid point too about man-made lakes versus natural lakes have an entirely different feel.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I almost feel bad for the beings in man-made lakes. Like I feel like they're trapped, and I'm like, "Are you okay?"
The Boulder Res felt like that. It felt icky. I went once and was like, nope, never again.
Like a quarry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like those either. I don't like stagnant water. Oh my God, Tiffany. We cannot say that on TikTok. We can save that for the after hours, though.
Yes, I'm going to take a picture of it so we don't. I'm not forgetting.
Sharon's on it too. There we go. So excited about this one as we go further into the elements. Oh my God. Tiffany, floor is yours. You haven't talked about water yet. Got something to say, baby? Go for it. Yeah, can you omit the whales, please?
I'll skip the whales. Water for me is just cleansing and grounding. Like, I love a bath. Give me a bath any day. Anything that I can't see my feet, I'm not a happy camper because something's going to eat me alive. So I'll stick to my bathtubs.
That's hilarious.
One thing I love about like the domesticated water usage is how easy it is to tune it to what you want it to do. Like Tiffany's saying with the bath. I put my hand on every spout and faucet in the house and said, the water that comes out of this and then in, on, or through me takes from me all that which no longer serves. And it sets it so easily. because it's so highly malleable because it doesn't have any undines in it. There aren't any spirits in it. It's sterilized, domesticated water. So it's water in like its purest-ish form. And it's so easy to manipulate and say, this is what I want you to do. Please go right ahead and do that.
Oh,
I'm saying it's like water without memory.
yep. Which makes it more excellent. Oops, sorry. Go ahead, Spencer.
I was gonna say, can you imagine if we are drinking water and we just start getting memories from the water of like where it came from?
Can you imagine that? Like as consciousness opens?
Well, that's an interesting fact because I actually have well water, not like city processed water.
Mm.
So maybe you should try next time. Be like, hello, water. What you got for me today?
I will say, like on the heels of that, when I go down to the river, I do feel it starting at the mountains, and I feel the traveling down. I feel like that tumbling, flowing action of coming from a higher elevation, and the cascade down. Interesting.
I think what I like about water too is the sound.
Hmm.
It's always calming. I mean, it can be terrifying. Like a huge waterfall can be terrifyingly loud.
Mm-hmm.
But like the waves, the rain, running brook water, like it's calming.
That's what Sharon was saying too, is like the streams and rivers of the Rocky Mountains where she is are just super calming.
Mm-hmm.
But wild water has always been calming to me, except ocean water. Again, I'm fairly certain I'm just going to die again. Not ready to go. Not ready.
So if grounding in earth will shift the ions in our body,
Mhm.
and listening to water will activate our parasympathetic nervous system, I think we discount those physiological advantages with these elements. So, like when we're not working or we're working with one too much, then it's everything in moderation, including moderation type of a thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. As a Libra, I like to balance the scales.
Yeah.
I can appreciate the balance, but I can also appreciate the chaos and the imbalance. That life has to flow like that. It can't just be steady, or I'd be bored off my freaking rocker. And we've seen what I do when I'm bored. It's not cute. Not a good look for anybody. Let's move on to air. Obviously, air is my favorite. I'm an air sign with 2 fire signs on either side. Oh yeah, I'm I'm a Sag rising with a Leo moon. Making a whole lot more sense now, right?
Jeez Louise.
Whole
Wait.
lot more sense.
Leo is air?
Leo's
Leo-
fire.
Okay.
Fire.
Never mind.
Sag and Leo are both fire. I'm a lot of fun. I'm intellectual about it. I've already thought through every scenario that could go bad or right. So when we're having fun, just know it's organized fun, even though it may seem like chaotic fun. We're having a blast though. And I'm going to say yes to everything because I've already overthought about all of it.
Wait every single possibility and outcome.
For real. And my favorite part of air actually is using it in my witchcraft. Is saying, so one thing I do is, can you please whisper my name and bring my name to anyone who needs me? Anyone who needs Andrea Lovett, sweet release healing, what I have to offer that I can teach, that will learn from me, that needs to learn from me. Can you please whisper my name?
Forking brilliant.
I love working with Jenny. She's so earthly and so amazing that when you go off of Earth, she's like, ba-bam. And then she says things that are of Earth. And I'm like, boom. Oh my God.
So when you do things naturally, Andrea, you and I had this conversation yesterday. When you do things naturally, there's not a lot of thought process that comes in it. So there's not a lot of thought process that goes with it. So I forget that I can do things like that because it just never occurred to me that I can.
And I forget to use my brain. So I'm like, wait, there's a thought process for things? You don't just do them willy-nilly and see what happens? Not everybody's just raw dogging it out here. Like,
It's not raw dogging for you. You're like, I just put my hand over the water tap and I just, send that affirmation out. And for other people, they're like, what? Like me, like,
it just never occurs to me to not.
exactly.
This is why you need an air and fire friend.
Aaron,
Water, fire, and air. We are chaos in a bottle.
Believe it. Lightning in a bottle. I fucking love it.
I don't know what they are. I'm Capricorn, Leo, and
Earth, fire,
Sagittarius.
fire. Earth, fire, fire. Volcano.
No.
Could be there quiet or you could erupt. You don't know what's going on. Tiff, you gonna talk?
No.
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 I think
Look up what I was. I had no idea.
I think when it comes to the air, I grew up in Idaho where it's always windy, and that is where I find my most peace is in wind. And like I know it's destructive. We get like 100-mile winds here in Utah at some points, but it just clears my mind. And like if there's a windy day and something's on my mind, I'm sitting out in it. I'm walking. I'm listening to the trees. I'm watching the trees. I'm doing whatever I can to connect more to the wind. And it clears my mind. It's the fastest way for me to clear my mind and like connect quickly.
Sorry, Tiff, please go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm fine not talking. No. I was going to say I'm a little bit of the opposite. I find my peace in the middle of like a raging storm. Like I will run outside if it's about to thunderstorm and try to harness the power of the chaos that's about to ensue and really make peace with it. I love that feeling of static energy that just fills the air with it.
I'm with Tiff. I wish that my neighborhood wasn't. So that when the storms come in, I could go out on my porch and scream and yell into it and just let it go. Because that's what I want to do every time a storm rolls in. I want to unleash every bit of chaos that's inside of me and let it rage with the storm. I want to couple the energy. I don't want to pull from it. I want to detox to the storm. That's where my discharge is. Sorry, Spencer. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. It's a little bit between friends.
I mean, I was thinking electrocution. I wasn't thinking that one, but now I am.
I mean, I'm sure there's some way I could figure out how to use that, so it's fine.
It went up my nose. The water went up the back of my nose.
Somebody in Discord posted a picture this week of this beautiful like cloud image that looked like an angel. To me, it was a sylph. To me, it looked like that's what I see when I see those images, those air spirits sort of embodied in the best way that they can, which is just vapor and sunlight. And it's really interesting. I'll always kind of pay attention and take that moment, like Spencer said, and sit out in there and listen to feel what, if there's something out there for me in that moment.
Did we see Jessica's comment in TikTok? Spits out water. Counted. You have your bingo card out.
So just,
Somebody spits out their water. I think that's been me twice. I don't appreciate being attacked by that. Don't appreciate it at all.
the sheer panic of the bingo card yesterday, the fact that it was universal was hilarious. I was like snort laughing.
Oh, yeah. I cried a little laughing at it. Like I was like, oh my god, because it was the updated version is even better than the first, and the first was hilarious.
Yeah.
It
was too fun. If you don't have it yet, it's pinned in the general chat in Discord. Go get it, download it, bingo it out.
Yes.
I'm being really self-conscious about mine. Like I'm like purposely keeping my hands under the desk so I don't put anything on my head.
You do look like a child who's in trouble. I clocked it. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And they're like trying to be weird. And I was like, there it is.
Trying to be weird.
No, try not to
Sounds
be
easy.
So let's do that.
Be weird?
Sharon said she really needs to move so she can be the witch of the woods but she has to be crazy in private.
Yes.
Tiffany, stop trying to get her to move to Pennsylvania. She's not your Sharon. Get your own.
You're gonna join custody? Calm down.
No. Mine.
We'll drop her off at a gas station every other week. Do exchanges.
That's what I call it when I exchange my kids with their dad. It's a hostage exchange. And it's so funny because we were leaving one night and there were like 4 other ones, 2 parent cars and a kid with a backpack. And we were like, no. My daughter was like, this is brilliant. I don't feel so bad anymore. She was yelling out the window. She's like, what's up, homies?
Same.
She was like, same. Your parents hate each other too? Nobody's getting a Sharon schedule because I'm not sharing my Sharon.
Say that 10 times fast.
I'm not sharing my Sharon. 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 I'm not sharing my Sharon.
Sharing is caring.
No, it's fucking not.
Sharing is caring.
Say that to coronavirus. Say that to herpes.
That's not on the bingo card.
Dang, that's not on the bingo card.
Will be next week.
She did leave a free space for me though. She was like, Andrea can call the free space, so we can do something outrageous there if we want.
Sharing is caring herpes when you have empath fingers.
Whoa. Okay.
I just got three palm hands covered with these.
I need to know more about empath fingers. What does that mean? I'm scared. I'm gonna put my hands. Oh my god.
Waving them in the hair doesn't help explain. This tells me nothing. What is this?
Flower Moon said that gave me the ick. That's where you leave the date. And I'm done. That's enough red flags even for me.
I'm like 7 shades darker red than normal.
I love it. Oh, that's Sharon said we should ask his wife about empath hands. Fingers. I'm not doing that. I am perfectly comfortable asking Charity and Terry about this, but definitely not. Oddly enough, I don't want anything to do with a hetero couple with that question. Like, okay. And you guys enjoy that. I want to know.
Yes.
By the way, at this point, you can use your off-topic square. Your bingo card. Also, Spencer did have his hand like this. I think that counts. So if you have your bingo card out and Spencer put something on his head, you can mark that off.
And Jenny left the screen.
That's true.
That counts.
Yeah.
Left the screen. Someone left the screen. It counts. Absolutely counts. Oh. Sharon, I'm just more comfortable with that. Sharon's like, how straight are you really, Andrea? Well, sometimes hetero couples make me uncomfortable because a woman thinks I'm after their man, or the man is like, hey, she maintained eye contact. And I'm like, because it's polite and it gets weird. That's why. Far more comfortable for me. Sharon, shut up.
Morgan.
That counts, by the way. That counts as the Morgan shut up card. Space.
Really good thing Morgan's not here for the empath hands thing, but when she's going to be editing this.
Oh my God, she's going to have so many comments. Morgan edits this. She's going to be like, I am so sad I missed this one. Can you imagine how many chats we would be looking at right now and reading to everybody about what Morgan would be saying right now? I'd be saying, shut up, Morgan, at least 18 times. We should add Morgan tries to get someone to move to Canada, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I totally choked.
So, for anybody else besides you three, how do you use? No, you use air. Sorry, I was jumping to the wrong direction. How do you use air in your workings? What do you like? What physical item? How do you bring air in your cunnings or your spell work?
Me or anyone else?
You, everybody. I was thinking water, but we moved. We're over on air.
I really like, okay, my air altar right now has a braided, let me see if I can even show you this. So I asked them what they wanted, basically. I was like, all right, to all the sylphs out there, what do you want? Like, what would be nice? So a sylph is an air spirit. So they were like, well, and they kept showing me ribbons. And then they showed me it braided with tassels at the end. So I was like, I can do that. I went over to Walmart, and wouldn't you know, I saw in the cut yards exactly the patterns they showed me, in the exact colors they showed me. It was red polka dot, this blazing yellow, a flat green, and a blue with a pattern.
Cool.
So while I was in there, I was like, does that work? Does that work? Does that work? And I got really excited. So I made that because they like to play in the ribbons. They like to run around and play in the ribbons and bob and weave and dodge through them. So I was like, cool. And then when I was also in there, I picked up fake but draping plants. So like one of them just looks like a long wisteria. It's white. And then there's some that are green that almost look like willows, like a willow tree.
Ooh.
So I put those over there too. I have it's like green jade or green agate. It's got pieces of quartz in it. Crescent moon. I have a selenite ball, a selenite crescent moon with the stars and moon etched in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a big chunk of like a bluish quartz, not quite an aquamarine, but similar to that, a candle, and I have a couple of crow feathers that fell, as well as my macrame with the feathers and the tassels on it behind it. So it's all things for them to play on, and I made like a little card that's welcome to all celestial and air beings. Please let me know what you need. So I kept it very light.
Love that. A suggestion box for the sylphs. And for legal reasons, those are not American crow feathers. Those were imported from the United Kingdom, where it is 100% totally legal in the US to own and possess non-American crow parts.
Yeah, came all the way over here for it.
Yep.
Thank you, Jenny, for that. I appreciate your clarifications. But that's what I have for mine is all the air element representations with celestial as well.
Nice. I love that. Tiff, what about you?
What was the question?
What do you use? Like, what elements do you have in your house or in your practice for air spirits or for calling in air to your area?
Well, hers would be more celestial. She doesn't.
Yeah, the
with
biggest thing I think I do with air is feed the crows. Birds seem very airy to me, and I think that's my connection with that element specifically. That or I leave the windows down in my car.
Do you?
I never thought about that one. I love leaving the windows down in my car, even if it's just a crack.
Mm-hmm. Just to feel that I need motion sometimes with it. I need the movement.
Do you use like water or do you set things out to absorb the celestial energy?
I do all the time. Even my body. Like I love to just my favorite, most calming sleep I get is outside under a moon. Like and just soaking all of that in. That's my spot is to be outside, especially under the night sky. I follow all the moon phases. I celebrate each one a little differently. I have my rituals for each.
That's so cool.
Spencer?
I was just going to say wind chimes. We have wind chimes that like it's very quick to notice. Like as soon as you hear them, it's a very quick mind like snap for me when I hear that. And then I have a fan blowing on me all night. All night.
This is a good reminder that tonight is one of the last nights of the new moon energy. So if you're going to put out your moon water, now's the time. I know I definitely need to put some of mine out. I like adding new moon water to my bath water because my bath is so detoxifying. It makes me look at the shadow side of myself.
Ooh.
But when I'm in full moon energy, I'd rather put that into like room mists, into my actual spell work, into like simmer pots for the house. I prefer full moon water for that.
Oh yeah, yes.
How's everybody feeling?
I love this so much. I could talk about this for days.
Me too, but we've hit about an hour. So we're going to stop here. Yeah, anybody get bingo on their bingo card? Oh, Flower Moon just said bingo.
Post it to the Discord.
Jess, you only have one more? What's the one you need?
Is it cheating if we make bingo happen for people?
Absolutely not. We get to do what we want. We make the rules.
Okay. Daddy
Andrea.
No, we said that earlier. I mean, does Daddy Princess count? Because that was in the very beginning.
That's true. I think you missed that one. It was Daddy Princess Andrea.
That's going on a shirt.
My level ones got to see Daddy Andrea, and they were whipped into shape. Mm-hmm.
Sad I missed that.
They really got to see Daddy Andrea because really talented readers. Every one of them had a gift focus session already and knew what to expect from me. But I was cracking the whip. Get to it. This is what we're here for. You're here to learn. Like, let's go. And it was funny because Tiff and Kaylee were monitoring. Mary said she was not happy with Daddy Andrea last week. Nobody is. Nobody likes Daddy Andrea. But I'm here to teach you. I'm here to bring all of this to you. And if I'm being coddly all the time, you're not learning shit. But if I'm being strong, you can pull off my strength and use it on your own. So that's always fun. But you should have seen Kaylee and Tiffany. Eyes were huge. They were like, oh shit, she's here to work them. And yes, Sharon did have to step in once. She was like, and like held me back and answered one of the questions.
An episode of Ted Lasso.
Well, because I was being so strict and I was like, no, this is your mediumship side. No, this is your psychic side. No, this is your empathic side. Use it. Where are your questionalities? Pull them up. The things I've already taught you. Where are your verifications? Move that in. And I wasn't like, you suck at life, but I was like, this is what we do. I did not put you all in the corner. I invited you to step out of the child's table.
There it is.
I'm not disappointed. I'm just Daddy Andrea right now.
That's what it is. I invite you to step up. I invite you to step into your power, and I invite you to use this properly with intention, not to just be wispy waspy la-di-da as we go through life. I invite you to use your actual gifts. Jessica, ma'am, I still get sat at the kids' table at Thanksgiving.
Those are hard, though. Those are some of the best, most loving, supportive moments. To be loved and supported, and I'm not going to say the word discipline, but I don't know another word for it. Course corrected or encouraged or held to standard. Like, that's a whole lot of feelings that happen all at once.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I promise I gave them plenty of time to go through it. I was like, 7 minutes. Let's go. Here's your questions. This is what you're going to do. You have 5 minutes. Enjoy. But they did it.
Mm-hmm.
They did a great job at it. And then last week with continuing education, Mary's not very happy with me over that one. But that's okay, because she did a wonderful job, though. That's the thing. She did a wonderful job. But sometimes being challenged that heavily does spark that, fuck it, I'm fucking doing this then. No.
Mm-hmm.
I've been invited to this table and I'm going to act like it. And it has people stepping into their gifts fully and deciding, not playing this game anymore. I'm not going to keep playing it small. I'm going to step into my personal power. And that is the best I can hope for anyone.
Yep.
I don't know why you felt dumb, Mary. You did amazing.
It triggers the ego too. Would she say it? Because like, I would have need 2 minutes to go cry in the corner, and get it all out and come back and it'd been like, I'm fucking watch me do it. But I would have had to have a cry first.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know how I say, cry it out then. Go. Fucking cry then. And come back in and let's get the work done.
And I love you. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 2 minutes. Get over this. I'll cry with you if you want, but then we get back to work.
Yeah. It's freaking amazing.
But I will say that level 1 had more people booking level 2 before the end of the first day than any in history of level 1s. Most of them by the end of day 2 had signed up for level 2. That's true, Tiff. I do sip on bourbon. All right. We really have gotten to the end. So we love you so much, TikTok. Thank you so much for following us and listening to the podcast as we go along. Thank you as well, everyone listening on Amazon, on Apple Podcasts, on iTunes. I don't know. I'm terrible at this stuff. Spotify. We love Spotify. We love YouTube. We love everybody who listens to us. Thank you so much, Sharon, for being an amazing producer tonight. And behind the scenes could not do any of this without you. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Spence. Every single one of you. Have a beautiful evening.